I was, I guess, about 6 years old when they left to go into the Army, and I experienced, my experiences were an 8-year-old, 7-year-old going through war, not knowing who was going to win the war. And that's what we talked about as kids. And my brother, he was very bright. He wanted to be a pilot, and I guess so many people want to be a pilot. He was concerned about flunking out, and once you flunk out, you don't get to fly. So he decided that he wanted to fly a bit more than he wanted to be a pilot, so he volunteered to be a bombardier, and that's what he did. And he was on his 39th mission when he was hit.
But in the meantime, when we lost those engines, the pilot right away said, "Start all your guns, start all your ammunition." He told me, he said, "Drop the ball to earth." And so I took off back to the back, and it was 4 nuts. And I spun them off, and then I held to the side of the plane and kicked that thing I think about the second time I kicked it, it went out. And from then on, by that time, we were at 16,000. We were losing 800 feet a minute to start with. So we worked pretty fast to get that thing stripped down. So that was all was left, is just us 10 men in that stripped down airplane. We would hold her, we get to floor until we run out of gas. And we just kept going. We'd gone over the target, and most of us we had chest suits. Some of us wore chest suits, some back suits and so forth. And I had taken it off and laid it down. And when we got hit, that parachute ended up in the front of our fuselage. And I couldn't get to it. Pilot did come on right quick and said, "Prepare to bail out." And I would not have been able to bail out.
First mission they went on, there you are 3,000 miles away from home and don't know a soul. Kind of sets you back a bit. Then my co-pilot and I, he made first pilot. We got the flu about 14, 15 missions. We was on the ground and that crew went down. So then you get on another bunch. And like a fool, I volunteered for my last mission.
There was no average work. Came back and had work to do. We stayed on them until they were done. We did times we'd work 36 and 48 hours at a crack. I never laid down. But we got the job done. That was what we're after. One thing was we said for sure, if you wouldn't fly it yourself, don't make anybody else fly it. Well, we never had that problem. Most of the guys are glad that we had worked on them, so we were very fortunate, very fortunate.
A right waist gunner saw his brother's plane shot down. We knew every day almost in what position his brother was flying, if we were flying in that thing. And we knew that day we saw his plane shot down. And long story short, he was shot down over Palestine. 3 days afterwards, the Russians came in, and he came home.
You know, if you look around, with all the tragedy, and another thing that was hard to do was take a man down that had been killed. We have a plane that didn't have any armor or anything else, and it was real light. And we'd take them down to Bari, Italy, and bury them. You go down one time, and then maybe the next week you take somebody else. And they had moved from here to way down, and you know they'd already buried that many men. And that really gets to you. And it's tough, and you swear you're not going to cry. Sit there and cry like a baby. It's something you just can't help, and you never forget it. That part of the war, nobody on my plane while I was in there ever got hurt, ever got hit.